young world. So I'm gonna tell a little quick story about the reason why I stopped hustling. I ran into somebody today that was like insinuating about something to me about my old lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? I'm sitting there like, first of all, at this day and age, a joker even come up to me talking about some stuff like that. I'm getting straight away from. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to hear nothing you got to say. I don't want to be heard on somebody's phone or wiretap talking about something that I'm not even inquiring about, you know what I'm saying? But how you can even just get mistaken and rolled up into somebody's BS because you know what I'm saying, somebody might be trying to do something. Maybe they ain't trying to set you up. Maybe they being watched, you know what I'm saying? Like, or whatever the case may be. But this is the exact reason why I stopped hustling. I've been hustling my whole life, you know what I'm saying? This is funny how I stopped hustling. So right before I stopped, the months leading up to it, I say like a year leading up to it. And there was a time years ago when I tried to stop, but I couldn't get a job. That's a whole other story. I was telling you about a fake felony I had on my record that was mistakenly there. That got taken away after all. I didn't get it taken off till like 20 years later. That's a whole different story though. So there was a time about 10, 15 years ago where I tried to get out the street. Like now, this is old. I'm out the streets now. I've been out for years. You know what I'm saying? I haven't done no dirt in years. It's been a long time. So this is the reason though. So within the year before I actually stopped, I was already getting into my mind that I was like, damn, I need to, you know what I'm saying? I need to stop. I've been doing this way too long. All this type of stuff. I had got like a little part-time job at that point, and I had like a different thing going on that I'm not going to really get into. I don't want to be putting other people on the spot. But something I was involved in that was like positive, that would have looked real crazy if I'd have got back with some stuff. So, like I said, it was already in my mind. Little stuff happening, being paranoid. Certain people I'm seeing at random spots when I'm seeing people. You know what I'm saying? Plus, when the cameras started popping up everywhere, that's the other thing that really got me in a mind state of trying to get out the streets. I was like, damn, everywhere you look. And then when I got my own camera, the Ring doorbell camera, I ended up getting one at one point. And once I got it, that really turned me. I was like, yo, because you never know where you can't even walk down the street talking because people can hear what you say everywhere you go. So long story short, one day I went to the store, shopping, grocery store. I went to the gas station. No, I went to the grocery store, then I went to the gas station, and I went home. But I had a little something on me, just a little small something in my pocket. And mind you, I'm the kind of person, ever since I was young, I lost my house keys when I was like 10 years old one time. I was mad, whatever I was. And that made me like a paranoid person, so I'm always checking my pockets all the time. I'm always tapping my pockets. It's just a habit I got, you know what I'm saying? I always tap, put my hand in my pocket real quick every like couple minutes or tap it to make sure whatever's in there is supposed to be in there, whether it's keys, money, whatever. You know what I'm saying? My wallet, always tap my back, whatever. So this one particular day, I went to the grocery store, went to the gas station, and got home. I had something on me. So when I was home, I was doing whatever I was doing, checked my pocket, and for whatever reason, not for whatever reason, because I always check my pocket, what I had on me wasn't there. So I was like, oh shit, what the So I started panicking immediately. Cause I know I just left the store, you know what I'm saying? So I'm like, oh my God, I dropped what I had on, like, where could it be? First thing I'm thinking is, damn, I went to the store, went to the self checkout. Did it come out of my pocket by accident when I was reaching in my pocket to pull money out to pay for my food and stuff like that? So from my house to the grocery store I went to was like probably less than 10 minutes, 7 minutes. The suspense that hit me, because I was like, oh my God, this shit had to come out my pocket when I went to pull my money out to pay for my groceries. So I was done in my mind. I'm like, so I was going back to the grocery store just to go over there and look around and see if it was on the ground. Hopefully nobody might have seen it, and if it could have still been, I could have picked it up. That's what I was thinking, because otherwise somebody else find it. First thing they're gonna do is go to the camera, see you dropped it, and there you go. I'm done. So I was a wreck driving to the grocery store. But I was like, before I went to the grocery store, I was like, let me stop at the gas station too, because I did go to the gas station. So for about 5 minutes, I'm mentally ready to die. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, all this shit I've been through, all the stuff I've overcame, like all this Luck I had all the stuff. I'm gonna go down because I dropped something out of my pocket at the fucking grocery store. Like I was a wreck. So all I know was, like I said, so like 7 minutes to the grocery store. The gas station was like 5 minutes, like 2 minutes closer to the grocery store. So I got to the gas station, got out to the pump I went to, and what I had in my pocket, lo and behold, was sitting right there on the ground at the gas station. And there was a dude right in front of where I was, where it was at. You know what I'm saying? A white dude, and this looking, he wasn't paying me no attention, but in his car pumping his gas. Luckily, he didn't see it. Nobody else seen it, but it was right there. So yo, it was at that moment I was like, you know what? I'm not getting nothing else. I was like, this is going to be the last work I have. What I got now, this is it. That's fucking it. Cause I was just sitting there thinking, cause that never happened. All the years I've been, you know what I'm saying, something like that has never happened. Like I never just lost something out of my pocket. Cause like I said in the beginning, when I was, ever since I was young, I lost my house keys, and I always had like a habit all the time of checking my pockets every couple minutes. So that might not sound like much. And like I said, it was already in my mind. I was trying to get out the streets anyway, but that might not sound like much, but something that simple made me realize I was like, everything I got going for myself, everything I'm working for, everything I'm doing. Like I said, I had some other stuff going on that was like positive. I was like, all this shit could have been just flushed down the toilet because I mistakenly, by accident, dropped something out of my pocket and didn't realize it. And that's the reason I left. That's when I stopped hustling. That was the last work I had. Whatever I had after that, that was gone. I was done. Didn't never look back. And I've been away from the streets so long that even the thought of going back and doing dirt just makes me sick. You know what I'm saying? Is the thought of me having to go back and do dirt like that again, live how I was living for all them years, the thought just turns my stomach. You know what I'm saying? When I run into other people in the streets that I do from before, nowadays I don't be around nobody like that, especially anybody that from like my the old life I was living. Mainly because it's not even on no like bougie stuff. It's just because you can get caught up in people's stuff by accident. You know what I'm saying? I saw it happen before. These big Fed rings come out, snap up a bunch of people. You can get caught up in something for just something minimal. You know what I'm saying? Something that you really ain't even got nothing to do with. I seen them do things where they even the fiends got fed charged, like just all type of stuff. So that's y'all can have that. You know what I'm saying? They can have it. Y'all can keep it, do it. None of that. You know what I'm saying? I'm sharing this story to say that because this is the hardest, the last step of getting out of the streets, the last real step of leaving the streets altogether. You know what I'm saying? Is being able to have legal income where you can sustain yourself and pay your bills. You know what I'm saying? There's many levels of the streets. You know what I'm saying? People think, oh, the street. There's many ways you can be involved in the streets, be in the streets. You might be, like when I was young and I was in the streets. You know what I'm saying? Like really in the streets, out there, strapped, you know what I'm saying? Beefing, getting shot, all type of nonsense, drama. That's when I was young, really in the streets. But then, like the next phase of that is when, all right, I'm not in the none of that no more if I don't have to be, unless something comes to me, I'm not in it. But you're still getting money, so you're still in the streets. You know what I'm saying? In that aspect. So as long as you're even taking a dollar out of the streets, you're in the streets. I don't care how nonchalant you think you are or how sophisticated you think you are. If you're doing everything else right, you playing a part to the fullest to where you're not drawing no attention to yourself. Joker, if you're taking $1 out of the streets in any type of way, whether you got somebody out there working for you, whether you just funding a situation, whatever the case may be, if you're taking a dollar out, you're in the streets. You're connected to it no matter what. Because as long as you deal with anybody that's in the street doing what they're doing, there's always a chance that that web, you're involved in that web of stuff going on. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, it ain't worth it, man. If you out there, get up out of it. It ain't like, take me as an example. I left the street. Like I said, when that happened, that was the last work I had. That was years ago. And ever since then, I found the way, man. I signed up for Grubhub, Uber, um, Walmart delivery, like anything it takes. You know what I'm saying? there's times I work two, three jobs at a time, still doing grub up if I have to, or whatever the case may be. Anything to not have to go back and get any money out the street. And the thing with the streets is that when you hustling, I don't know if it's like this everywhere, but in Pennsylvania, the statute of limitation is 7 years. They got to pick you up from if you like made a sale or something like that. So you literally can go out there, get caught up, do one thing one time, you know what I'm saying, and then now you're caught back up for over some BS, man. So that's my little story of how I left the streets. Joker dropped something out of his pocket by accident. I thought at the grocery store that I was paying for my groceries. And I've been through so much stuff in my life, you know what I'm saying? I've been locked, I've been all that, I've been getting locked up since I was 14, 13, 14 the first time I got locked up, you know what I'm saying? Juvenile facilities, everything, you know what I'm saying? Adult lock, I've been locked up all over the state, different jails. But for whatever reason, when I dropped that work out my pocket and didn't know where I dropped it at and thought I left it at the store, whatever it was, it made something click in my mind. Cause I was like, damn. I'm literally seriously about to go down because I dropped some work out my pocket at the grocery store in line paying for my groceries. And those 5 minutes from driving from my house to where I drove back I was going to the grocery store and the gas station. I found that at the gas station, but those little 5 minutes, so much shit went through my mind. I was like, yo, this is it. I was like, because I was like, look, as comfortable as you are when you getting money, you know what I'm saying, in the streets, you got extra money. And also, too, don't automatically think people that are hustling, everybody's not up. If you ain't been in the streets and never been, don't let these jokers lie to you. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people that's getting money in the street, I say 75% of the people in the street that are selling drugs or doing dirt are better off just getting a goddamn job. I guarantee you. This is not the movies. You know what I'm saying? Everybody out there selling drugs ain't just making so much money. It don't work like that. Everybody ain't out there just balling and bubbling. And you know what I'm saying? It's not like that. That's how it looks on TV. That's how it looks on these rap songs. Trust me, I've been in the streets since I was a teenager hustling. You know what I'm saying? It's not like that. I mean, me, fortunately enough, I always was straight in the streets, you know what I'm saying? Like, as far as, I was always good, but not all the time, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes you might be up, and one thing happened, you might go right down the next day and be messed up for a couple weeks or a couple days, a couple months. Don't let these jokers out here tell you that it looks real romantic on rap songs, you know what I'm saying, and all movies, Narcos and all this stuff. Everybody out here hustling is not making money like that, so don't even be. Most jokers in the street will be better off having a goddamn real job and not even hustling. You know what I'm saying? That's how less money. But like I was saying, besides, like back to the point, when that happened to me in those 5 minutes, everything that was going through my head, because plus I was getting older. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, when you start getting older, you just want to be. You don't want to have to worry about stuff like that. Every minute the police gonna kick on your door. The person you just served last, did he set you up? You know what I'm saying? Or did he just get caught? Is he being watched himself? Not even trying to intentionally get you in trouble, but maybe he's being watched. You know what I'm saying? Maybe he sold to somebody or bought for somebody that was working with the police. Now they watching him. Now they seeing you because you're dealing with him because they're watching you. Like, it's just too much. Like, trust me, it's too much. In this day and age, especially, it's just too much, man. In this day and age, if you're hustling, I guarantee you that if they didn't get you, it's because they don't want you yet when you hustling. Because when you selling drugs, man, it's something that you got to break the law every day. You know what I'm saying? You got to do this every single day. Or let's just say you balling out of control and you got keys and you got the birds and all that. Maybe you ain't making a sale every day, but you making a sale every couple days. There's a lot of luck that you have to keep getting lucky over and over and over and over. The police only got to get lucky one time. That's it. One time. You got to get lucky. Every single time you make a transaction, you got to be lucky. The people got to get lucky one time to grab you up to catch you. You know what I'm saying? So it just ain't worth it, man. It's just it look like people got you gotta. And I ain't gonna sit there and make it sound like it's easy. Like trust me, it's hard to it's hard to even get the mentality to leave the streets. I never thought I would be a person to have a job growing up. I had a couple of jobs here and there for like being on parole and stuff like that, probation. But I never took a job like looked at it like, oh, I'm gonna have a job and work and then like that'd be. I didn't even think it was possible to make a living off a job. You know what I'm saying? For real. Like as crazy as it might sound, I didn't grow up like that. Like seeing people, I knew people, a couple people that had jobs, one of them, but it just wasn't realistic to me. You know what I'm saying? Working a job and thinking that's how you live life. Until you get older, I got older, then stuff like I said, stuff happened, and now I'm different. But so I ain't gonna sit there and pretend that it's like an easy thing to do to leave the streets because if you was in the streets getting money and you was getting good money, at least decent money, the more money you get in the streets, the harder it is to get out of the mentality of not getting money in the street because me growing up, like I said, I ain't gonna act like I was like ever on some balling out of control, kingpin, all this top of the thing type of stuff. But I always did decent enough to where I can pretty much get anything I wanted in reason. But this is the other thing about it too. This is the other thing about it. I was so caught up for so many years what I was doing because I was so paranoid. I never wanted to leave my stuff, my situation, not even for a minute. I never wanted to have nobody get the opportunity to take my spot. So this is the thing too. All them years that I was doing what I was doing, I was making. I never even did nothing. I never went nowhere. I never did nothing. And like I never went nowhere and did nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like I did the same thing every day. I was just so paranoid about just leaving my situation for a minute. I didn't never even do nothing. All that time I could have did anything. I could have went anywhere and did anything. I never did shit because I was just focused on what I was doing. So even though I was doing what I was doing, it was decent and stuff. At the same time, my life was like on pause. You can pretty much say from the time I was a teenager up until I ain't gonna say till I stopped totally, but because I started like being different as I was getting older a little bit, started looking at a little bit things different. But at least for a good 15 years, at least for 15 years, you can say I did 15 years of my life was lived out in 2 days. You know what I'm saying? You can just look at it like that. You can look at it like 15 years of my life. I did the same thing, day in and day out. I had one focus, one concentration. I was tunnel vision. You know what I'm saying? That was all I was worried about. So it was like I lived 2 days out over the course of 15, like about 15 years. They could be summed up in a matter of 2 days, my life. I mean, yeah, granted, like the stuff that came along with being out there, like the beefs and little stuff and stuff that just comes along with being in the street, that didn't happen every single day. But I'm just saying, like, what I was focused on, what I was doing, you could sum that shit up in 2 days. That's how poisonous it is. You know what I'm saying? Just mentally being out there. You know what I'm saying? And it is hard work to get your mind off of that. Like, I'm not gonna sit there in front. It's hard work. Cause even nowadays, I'd be like, damn, I wish I could just not wish, but I'd be like, just thinking about how I was before in my life. I'd be out here busting my ass sometime, working hard. You know what I'm saying? Out here breaking my back doing some of this work. I think sometimes like my life was before. But even then, I'm so to the point now that it don't even creep into my mind. Like maybe I should just go back and. I don't even think like that. I don't even have that. The thought don't even tempt me no more. It just does pop up because it's just something to think about. But as far as like the temptation, don't even mess with me no more, nothing like that. To be thinking about going back out in the streets and you know what I'm saying, hustling and stuff like that. So I'm to a point now. I'm like years past even the temptation of even thinking about doing it. I just think about little stuff like even just going and getting it from the person you got to go and get it from. Even that for me, that thought alone for me nowadays is even too much pressure. You know what I'm saying? Because now it's like you got to worry about what they're caught up in. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, this person knows your business, no telling who they. This is like too much, even just that part of it. You know what I mean? So that's about it, man. I just wanted to share that because, like I said, somebody I didn't see in a long time mentioned something to me today, just inquiring about. I'm just like, dude, I don't even want to. I don't want to talk about this or even hear nobody talk. I don't even want to be around a conversation with a joker talking about anything to do with stuff like that no more at this point. I don't even want to hear. I don't want to know nothing. I don't want to. I don't even want to hear nobody even mentioning stuff like that around me. You know what I'm saying? Because I'll cut like not that I even deal with people, but it's like I'll cut you off after that. You know what I'm saying? I don't even want to know nothing about it. I don't even want to be in a position where somebody be like, "Oh, this joker knows because you know this person." So I don't even want to know nothing about nothing nobody's doing in the street at all. You know what I'm saying? So that's just where I'm at. But that's why I just said this little thing. But to end it off, like I said, if you at the streets and you trying to get out the streets, it's not easy, man. To stop getting money out. It's not an easy thing to do. Like, but it's possible. You know what I'm saying? The first thing you got to do, like I said, the last step of leaving the street is being able to get sustain a legal income that you can pay your bills with. That's the last part. That's like when you actually made it. Because in between you being in the street and actually getting out, there's a lot of different levels of things you got to overcome mentally. Like if you had beef, if you was out there with stuff like that, with beefing and the lifestyle, maybe was going to strip clubs or just whatever your thing was, and you was out there getting money and doing what you was doing with the money. There's different layers and levels of things that you gotta shed from your mental state to get out of the street. Because you gotta understand, once you're not getting money out there no more, many things that you was doing from getting money, that easy, quick money, you're gonna have to rid from your mind. You gotta detox from it because that's not a lot of that stuff is not a reality. Sometimes when you working a regular job, you know what I'm saying. So one thing you gotta try to do, like what I've done a long time ago, is I'm the kind of person I don't need much to be happy. You know what I'm saying? I vape. I do my vape thing right here. Outside of that, and I like to eat. You know what I'm saying? Outside of that, I don't give a fuck about too much of nothing. You know what I mean? Like as far as stuff you can buy. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm good. You got to get yourself to the mind state where you're happy with less. That's a step you got to get into too when you leave the street and you stop hustling. When you're used to getting money like that, you got to get yourself to the mind state that you can be happy with less. Because as long as you feel like you need to go out and keep buying Jordans and all that type of stuff, it's going to be hard for you to stop hustling because you can't be doing that when you went out here and worked for these people 40, 50, 60 hours a week. And then you'll just think about it differently. Like, even if you got the money for it, you like, before buying a pair of Jordans when you're in the street, you thinking like, oh, I can make that back in a couple hours. You know what I'm saying? A couple minutes maybe even. But if you was about to spend $200 after you done had a real job, you looking at it like, damn, I done worked a whole day's work for this. You know what I'm saying? I'll sit out here busting my ass for something like this. You know what I'm saying? So that's all I'm saying, man. But that's about it. Hit the like button if you didn't by now when you watch this on the playback.